Hello everyone and welcome to another To Die for Friday video, as well as another Halloween video. So for today's video we are going to be making another shape card. I know I've been making those a lot lately, but it's just kind of what I'm stuck on. So for today's video I'm going to be making a pumpkin shaped card, but it's going to be a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin shaped card. Does that make sense? It just makes sense in my head. I don't know. That's what we're doing. So I have all of my stuff ready. I'm also going to be using a punch today as well. So, you know, a little different, I guess. The punch I'm using is this jack-o'-lantern punch that I got at Michael's or Joann's a long time ago. It's the Jack-o'-lantern large. So we are going to be using this as well as the Spellbinders nested pumpkin dies. So I have everything already cut out and ready to go. This is going to be a very layered card, but here's all of my pieces with the exception of the face. So what I'm first going to do is I tested over here, as you can see on this is supposed to be the back side, but because I used it to test on, you can see that it went through, and I did not think about that when I did it, so I'm going to have to die cut this one out again. But I am going to be using Copic markers just to give the pumpkin a little bit of definition on our front one here. So I'm going to grab that marker. So the marker that I'm using is E97, and this is the deep orange, and we're just going to go from the top to the bottom and kind of make an oval style line, if that makes sense. So not putting a ton of pressure, I'm just kind of giving that shape, and then it looks silly now, but as you get the rest of them on there, it will look better. So I cut the top off here, so I'm just trying to make sure I get it kind of right where I want it. And then this side. Okay. And then I just went over with my 0 and did the same lines right on top. And this kind of helped fade the lines and give it more of a shadow look without adding a shadow color to it. Oops. And then I'm just going to give that a second to kind of evaporate and see if I need to go over it again. You can see that one side is still a little bit darker than the other, so I am going to have to go over on this side one more time, I think. But like I said, the 0 color blender just pushes that color deeper into the paper, and I did put a bit wider on there, but I do like that it gives the pumpkin a little more dimension. It looks a little rounder, I think. So I'm also going to take the marker and do just a little bit here at the top and go over that as well, and that's just to give it a little bit of a shadow. You can go around the edges. I don't think I'm going to, but I may test that out while I'm die cutting out another piece for my backing. So I'm going to give that a second to fully dry to see if I need to go over the lines again, and I'm going to go cut out my other piece real quick. Hold on just a second. Okay, I did go back over it a couple more times with the colorless blender, but I also went back over it with the color itself to make make the lines even in size-ish, and to darken them up just a little because they kind of faded out a little too much. So I went over it again, and then I've been adding the colorless blender to slowly fade the lines. It looks really dark on camera, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's much lighter, and I like the way it looks. So last time with the colorless blender, I think I did also go around the edges with it. I liked the way that looked, and it kind of bled in a little bit, so it does look better. Not to mention it hides the white. So for the stem, I just took a piece of brown cardstock from my scrap bin and cut out the top, and then that will match up right behind there, so it'll look more pumpkin-like. So I'm going to go ahead and add my tape to the sides of this. Oh, I'm going to get my little scratch paper there so I'm not putting glue on my craft mat. And then I'm just going to do the very edge, this way I don't cover up anything on the stem with it. And I'm going to go over, if I turn it the right way, the edge there to get the tape where it needs to be so it's nice and secure. So I'm just going to take that and I'm going to line it up one side at a time. And anything that does end up hanging over, I can just rub off with my finger. There we have our pumpkin. Now I should have done this first. I know I should have. I'm going to take my punch here and I'm going to punch the face. Make sure it's open, this one. So we're just going to center it in our punch here, and I have the die cut down as far down as possible. I am gonna stand this up so I can make sure that my pumpkin is straight. And then what I like to do is I like to hold it with the punch by just squeezing it just enough so that I know it's made contact with the paper, so I can hold it and really adjust easier. So I'm not trying to do this all at once. Okay, and then I'm just off to the side. I'm just gonna punch out the face and hope that that stayed lined up. So there's our little pumpkin, and I think once the face is cut in, that helps fade the lines even more, because now they don't look so dark, but it still gives him some character. I do have a piece of black cardstock here that we're just going to use to back his face. Just going to go all the way around our pumpkin. Then we're just going to line this up, and I have it cut just a lot smaller, so I know that it will still cover the face, but it won't hang over the edges any. So there is our jack-o'-lantern. Oh, I love it. I love it. I kind of wish I'd gone around the inside though now with the Copic marker, but that's okay. That is okay. So now this would be the inside of the card. This is the inside of our card. I already scored the top edge so that it'll fold open, but I don't like, seeing all that. So that's why we have the back piece here. So I'm just gonna cover this in tape runner. You could use glue, and just about anything you want here. This is just what I had on hand. So we're going to go ahead and take that and get it off my finger. We're going to line up the top here. This also reinforces the stem of our pumpkin. So, and if it's off center a little, that's okay. It just will add a little extra depth to your card. I mean, no pumpkin is perfect, right? Okay, and then for this, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cover the top with tape runner right up to the fold line. Oh, no. Before I do that, I almost forgot. I am going to stamp out our sentiment, but I am going to be using my Mini Misty because this is a textured cardstock. So I'm going to find my Mini Misty. There it is. Oy. And I'm going to move my card base so I don't get it stuck. And this is a rubber stamp, so everything has to come out. And I'm going to take my stamp and make sure it's good and clean. It looks a little dirty. I'd hate to stamp onto my pumpkin here while I'm testing out. So we're just going to have it say Hello Pumpkin right down here in the corner. Actually, you know what? I really like him the way he is. I don't think I want to stamp on him now that I think about it. You know what? We are going to test it. We're going to test it and see. So we're going to punch his face again. Just doing it over my recycle bin. And then I think we're going to just go ahead and we're going to give it a little test to see how we like it. I think that's probably, oh, okay. The smartest thing to do here. So I'll just take the Memento ink. Stamp that down. See, this is why I was going to use the Mini Misty. It didn't stamp out perfectly. Probably need to bump it up a little bit. Let's see. How do we like that now? Yeah, nope, I don't like it. See? It's a good thing I tested, right? My original plan was to put that on there. I'm glad I tested that instead of just doing it. So we are just going to do the inside sentiment, which the sentiments are from Amy R's Witchful Thinking, and this one is just going to say You're Spooktacular, and we don't need the Mini Misty for that because it's just going on the inside. But I do need my Stamp-A-Majig because it is a rubber stamp, so I can't see through. So I'm going to grab my block and I do try to put the stamp on there about as straight as possible. Test that off real quick. Okay. Put some ink on it and press this in to place. It doesn't have to be super perfect on here, just needed enough to line it up. And we're going to put this about middle towards the top a bit. So right there. And before we move this, I'm going to re-ink my stamp and then clean it off because as you can see it got along the edges there and I don't want that stamping. So I'm just going to clean off my stamp so I get it all nice and pretty. Hey look, this video might actually be done in under 20 minutes. Woo! Okay. All right. Get the fuzz off. Come on. Piece of fuzz stuck to it that doesn't want to come off, but knowing my luck. Ah, got it. Yes, okay. So I'm gonna re-ink my stamp here. Make sure it's all nice and inked up. Clean off any edge that might have gotten ink that I don't want, so I don't stamp it on there. Very carefully move this without shifting my paper and press down. A little crooked, but that's okay. Not too bad. Alright, now we're going to take our cover. We're going to make sure this is dry. I'm going to line the two pieces up, starting at the bottom. And then press that together, and again, clean off any overhanging glue. And then I'm going to take my bone folder, since it is such a small little area, and really press down. If you plan to send a card like this through the mail, you're going to want to use much heavier or stronger adhesive, and maybe make the fold a little farther down, but this card isn't going anywhere. It's just going to sit in my back room, or my craft room. So there we go. There's our little pumpkin card. I think it is so cute. I'm really happy with it. And it just opens like that. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And there will be possibly no video next Monday. It just kind of depends on how my weekend goes, and if I can get one done. But there will be an update video come Wednesday, so I look forward to talking to you then. Happy crafting. Bye.